Now, thank goodness, the technology has evolved where they can replicate in a lab, like say irritation on rabbit skin or a mouse skin. So instead of having to test on the animal, they can test on the genetic substrate for reactivity. So they really don't even have to test on animals anymore. So the technology has evolved to the point that if you're testing on animals, the only country that still kind of demands that is China, and they're starting to back off because they realize that, people care.
This is the Healthy Lifestyle Solutions podcast, and I'm your host, Maya Acosta. If you're willing to go with me, together we can discover how simple lifestyle choices can help improve our quality of life and increase our longevity in a good way. Let's get started. All right, friends, welcome to another episode of the Healthy Lifestyle Solutions podcast. I'm your host, Maya Acosta. Now, as you know, I continue to have interviews from the Vegan Women's Summit. And today I'm going to talk to you about a product that you may not be familiar with. It's called Chella. And I have the founder here with me. His name is Chris Kolodziejski. And Chris has been an invited speaker on the subjects of keys to retail success and has given his speech to the following organizations: the American Association of Cosmetology Schools, CNBC TV, Bloomberg Radio, Face and Body Atlanta and San Jose, and the International Beauty Show Las Vegas, and the most recent ISPA 2019. And like I said, we met at the Vegan Women's Summit, and I picked up some samples here that we're going to talk about. So let's welcome Chris. How are you?
Maya, I couldn't be better and just beyond thrilled and excited to be on your show. Honored to be here. What an incredible podcast. And I was researching your site and looking at all the tremendous folks that you'd had before me come and speak, and just really love the passion with what you're doing with plant-based food and plant-based eating and being an advocate for that and education for that. And it's become a passion of mine because I had a real health scare about 5 years ago. So looking forward to sharing kind of what happened to me and the journey that I've been on. But anyway, congrats to you and all your success and bringing this invaluable knowledge, this really life-saving, healing knowledge out to the masses with your platform.
Thank you. That's so kind of you to say that. So when I air this, I'm going to try to share some of the photos that I took from the Vegan Women's Summit when I attended. I walked by your display, and great job, by the way, on the booth that you had at the summit. Beautiful products. And the first thing that I did, because I didn't have a lot of time, as you probably guessed, I was working in the media room interviewing speakers that were coming off stage. And I had like the schedule that I had to go by. So every once in a while, when I had free time, I would sneak out of the media room and then just see who was there, what products were available. All vegan friendly, all cruelty free, wonderful products that we'll discuss. And so I approach your booth and I'm looking around and I say to probably your better half that was there, and I said, I could use a great lipstick right now. And she said, oh no, we don't do lipsticks. It's all eye beauty, like all eye products. And so then I said, oh great, now I'm not going to really have time because I just didn't have that time. So you're going to share with my listeners all of that, what you provide and how women can learn more about Chella. And am I saying the name right?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. So wonderful. So let's start with your story. First of all, Chris, I remember I went after the day summit. It was a full day summit. The next day, there was a networking event at the World Trade Center, the new World Trade Center that I had not been to. It was wonderful. And again, I saw you there. I introduced myself because, again, I had limited time during the actual summit. And you told me that you have a past as a former NFL player, football player.
Yes. Way back
Tell us about that.
Sure. It's a good place to start because it really kind of, in a circuitous way leads to how I got into cosmetics and I guess also plant-based eating. But for me, that journey started when I was in the third grade, and it's been a big part of my life to understand setting intention, having a transformation and then manifesting what you want. And in the third grade, I walked up to my dad. We always watched Sunday football together. And I said, I'm going to play pro football one day. And my dad was a very positive guy. He's like, yep, you can do that if that's what you want. So went out, Pop Warner, put on the pads, the helmet, and all the gear. And still third grade magical kid thinking, you think you're invincible. Like, oh, I'm Superman. I got all this stuff on. I can't get, hurt. Boom, until the first time you get hit. But I had that feeling of feeling like Superman. So that transformed my intention and set me on a path of manifestation, which was every day I told myself, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to play pro football. So I found out what the stats were, how fast and big and strong I needed to be to do it. And was very blessed in terms of health and coaching and all the mentorship that went into that. But I achieved that goal and ended up being the second round pick for the Steelers in 1984, way back when, and actually a starting tight end as a rookie. Now, I kind of want to be able to share, I'm going to share about how that ultimately led to me being in cosmetics. Because I watched my mom when I was in the fourth grade. My parents got divorced. It was amicable, but I spent time living with my mom and living with my dad. And at the times that I was living with my mom when I was younger, I saw her, a single woman, 2 jobs, in an apartment, 2 kids, doing everything she could to make it happen. And it wasn't happening for her the way she wanted. And she set an intention. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to change, got more education, and the next year founded her own company, and 10 years later retired. And so I saw her set intention, transform, and manifest this new future for herself. And it took me a long time to understand that how do you go from pro football player to investment banking, corporate finance, real estate development, to cosmetics? That's not the normal route, right? But what I realized through the investment banking part was I wanted to own my own company and my own business. What I didn't realize was the subconscious driver for me about why I ended up in cosmetics. It was about empowerment. It was about helping people achieve that moment of transformation. And Maya, let me ask you, what was it like the first time that you put on makeup? And how old were you when you remembered, oh my gosh, this makes me feel really beautiful?
Well, to be honest, I'll tell you briefly.
Please.
I was not allowed to wear makeup, but back in the day, I remember finding out in a magazine or something about a product that I could order on I was going to say online, but online was not an option back then, but through a catalog.
Yeah.
And my makeup palette arrived in a beautiful sort of, a little bit bigger than this, in a package, beautiful packaging and branding. And I would, go to high school and sneak around and wear my makeup. I loved it, Chris. I loved wearing makeup. It just makes a woman feel so good.
Right, for sure. My better half just came here so you could take some pictures of us so we could post online. Maya remembered meeting you, Sarah. So yeah, come on, you can pop in here.
Hi, Sarah. How are you? Good to see you. Hi.
Anyway, keep it live. So it transformed you and how you felt, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that was the subconscious driver for me, was understanding that we can help people with those moments where they apply makeup, ours in particular, brow and eye makeup, and they go through that transformation where they look in the mirror and they go, wow, I really look and feel beautiful. And it gives them that confidence maybe to manifest to the next level of their life and what they want to accomplish. And then the ultimate goal, I think, is that you realize with or without the makeup, you're still that beautiful person. You're just more empowered. So anyway, I think that's the founder story. How do you go from pro football to cosmetics? And it was really inspiration, manifestation, and transformation, all of those. And it's a big part of my life because I love to share with people that they're limitless. Anything that they want or desire, they're able to do. But it's got to start with an intention, right? Something they're passionate and a desire. And then from there, that can birth, transformation and manifesting it.
I want to add also to what you were talking about, just the personal transformation. And I really need to research this again to find the article that I once read about how, in this case, a woman is perceived when, and this was based on some studies that were done, of whether you're not wearing makeup at all to where you're wearing makeup in a sort of business fashion. And then when you're heavily wearing makeup, like too much, and how people view you and perceive you. And when a woman doesn't wear makeup and she goes to say a business meeting or she's around other colleagues, people perceive her as not putting effort into herself.
Interesting.
And I need to find this article, but
Please.
ever since I read it, I said to myself, gosh, at least I need to do my eyes and a light lipstick to show that I care about my appearance, that how I'm perceived by others matters to me. And I know that a lot of women nowadays, it depends. Some women don't like wearing makeup. It feels heavy. Now I'm an ethical vegan. We'll talk about that as we move, at one point when we talk about makeup, what that means, but it becomes more difficult when we're looking for cruelty-free products. But I will say again that it does matter. Ever since I read that article, I now pay attention to individuals to see have they put a little bit of effort, even with our hair, because a lot of times we're very busy. We just want to run errands and it doesn't matter what, what our appearance looks like. But transformation, it stands out, what you just said about Chella.
For sure. Thank you, Maya. And thank you for sharing your personal story and journey. And also, when you find that article, please send it along. We did a deep dive research on our customers to really try to connect with them and better understand who they are and what they want and what they're about. And we had thought, right? Our customer was a 20 to 30-year-old woman. And we found that she's a 30 to 40-year-old woman who is much like you, a powerful woman who is in front of people. And I'll say, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I'll say that the joy of connecting to make a difference. Like you have a point of view, you want to connect with your audience and make a difference. Now I'm being presumptuous there, but that's what came back. And what's beautiful about that is that they, much to the article, they subconsciously know that no makeup is not a look for them, that they want to be kind of natural to natural enhanced. And they feel if they have too much makeup, they're intimidating and not approachable and not real. So too much makeup equates to not real. But, just putting your brows on and a touch of lipstick, you can pull off this beautiful natural to natural enhanced look. And it's kind of a no makeup look. And that's really where our sweet spot is as a company and what we're trying to advocate for it. And by the way, no makeup or tons of makeup, whatever you love and feel comfortable, that's you. That's what you should do. But just kind of as professional women that are forward facing, that was the feedback that we got. So I thought it might be helpful to share.
That is pretty cool because I have seen celebrities that have moved into that space, whereas at one point they were pressured by their own team to wear heavy makeup, right? Because they're performing. So of course you need more makeup when you're on stage and all. And when you're in the public eye, but I have seen, I think Alicia Keys was the one that sort of motivated me to come off a little bit off that lipstick and the dark, eyeliner. And at the same time, I make my own decisions about my own appearance, but my husband actually told me very early on that he didn't like that heavy makeup look. And I thought, okay, great. We're on the same page because I'm not going to be that person that is fully made up. I'm just not, I don't put that much effort, but I still enjoy wearing eyeliner and lipstick and a little bit of blush. I enjoy it.
That's lovely. Fantastic. Alicia Keys, one of my all-time faves.
Yes. So yes, tell us more about, the inspiration in many ways started with your mother, who you saw become an entrepreneur on her own. And she was able to retire. Did you say 10 years after she started her company?
Correct.
Incredible. So I don't know too much about football, so I'll be honest, but I do know a couple of things that I paid attention in terms of how short the career is. The sort of injuries that people live with afterwards, players, the career is short. And if they don't build something afterwards, right? If they don't create, a business like yourself, then what do you do afterwards? And then we also know you come into a lot of money so quickly in your career. I always see it as an opportunity to expand, to invest. So tell us more about that. Like how then, so your mother was one of the inspirations behind creating your makeup line. And then what else happened?
I guess early in my career, I got hurt in the 11th game of my rookie season, and I got a shattered kneecap and 2 severed ligaments, and I was actually never able to play again. So in some ways, it was a blessing for me because back then, I mean, this was 40 years ago, I hate to say, they didn't know anything about CTE or chronic traumatic encephalitis, and the brain injuries that occur and are occurring still today are devastating for football players. There's been a lot of guys that have taken their own lives and they wrote a suicide note and they shoot themselves in the chest and say, I know my brain is not right. Please examine me. And one of my best friends, Mike Webster, when I played, he took me under his wing as a rookie. He'd been, 4-time Super Bowl champion, one of the greatest players ever. He was case number 1. He was diagnosed with CTE post death, and they can't find out until you die, and they do a brain examination to find out if it's there. There's a great movie called Concussion all about it, but that was a very short part of my career. I immediately then had to fall back on my finance degree, and I went into actually real estate development, building commercial and residential homes out in Malibu, California, of all places, because I went to Malibu Park Junior High and Santa Monica High School. Then from there, suffered the real estate collapse in 1990 through 95. It was a big depression, recession that hit California. Then went into investment banking, corporate finance, and I did that for 10 years, which I enjoyed tremendously. But then there was an opportunity for me to start Chella, and that really became a passion for me. Because of that whole notion of being able to empower others and help them learn how to manifest and transform and make it happen for themselves, set intentions. And so I think where I'm at with the company right now is I want to be able to share, that good news. But, 5 years ago, I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and I was told by my doctor for 30 years prior to that I was going to get diabetes because it was genetic and it ran in my family. And those are two of the biggest falsehoods that you can tell a patient. There's nothing genetic about lifestyle. And the only accurate part about the family thing is that I got diabetes because I ate the same food my family ate. So my grandparents got diabetes, my dad got diabetes, and I got diabetes because we all ate the same animal products and fat and all that stuff. And it was my better half, Sarah, who popped in earlier, who I got the diagnosis and she went home and said, that's BS. There's a natural, because you immediately get the drug recommendation. You got to take all these drugs. So she found a resource, Dr. Greger, who wrote a book called How Not to Die. And she flipped it open to diabetes and it said, go plant-based. And I became a plant-based 90% vegan the next day. Literally the next day, and within 90 days, my A1C went from 9.5 to 6.5. My cholesterol went from 270 to 150. And within 6 months, my fatty liver disease resolved. And my blood panels today, 5 years later, are that of like a 20-year-old. My kidney and liver function is absolutely perfect, and I'm off all meds. So it was a tremendous, tremendous transformation, and I owe it to plant-based. So that's been a big inspo.
Incredible. I love that. Love hearing these stories. I've seen, documentaries where they are able to show that within 7 to 10 days of just cleaning up the diet, you can see an improvement in your blood pressure and your blood sugar. This is incredible. So now here you are. And this was 5 years ago, you said?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
I've heard some people say that you can reverse, and I'm doing quotes here, reverse type 2 diabetes. Some people say that it goes into remission. But either way, it sounds like you are in a good place with your diabetes. For sure,
100%. I like you, I've watched so many of those documentaries. What the Health is an amazing documentary. The one that Arnold Schwarzenegger did, Game Changers, is an incredible documentary. I don't know if you've seen the one Fasting, but both those documentaries mention a clinic up in Santa Rosa, California called True North. And they have become my primary care doctors regarding this. And Dr. Vares up there is absolutely beyond brilliant. So yeah, we've completely reversed it without medication. So I'm very, very happy about that. Most people think, diabetes is a disease of sugar. It's actually not a disease of sugar. Sugar is the consequence, and you have too much blood sugar in your blood because you're unable to process the sugar because your cells are loaded with fat, and mainly too much saturated fat. So as I removed the dairy and the full fat cheese and the animal products from my diet, all of a sudden I started burning off all that fat. I lost 50 pounds and was able to then, burn the sugar, and the numbers come right back down. So it's amazing if you let the body heal, what it's capable of.
Yeah. Wonderful. Congratulations. And Dr. Michael Greger is one of my heroes as well. I'm going to put a link to his website, nutritionfacts.org. I whenever I have a question about something related to either food, or if there have been studies associated with a particular topic, I go to his website, because he does all of the questioning whether studies have been done. He even addresses myths. When people believe that certain things are true or not, he'll show you whether there are studies to
put it to the test, he says.
Yeah, that's right. He puts everything to the test. I love that.
I love that guy. That's my favorite resource I give to everybody. I said, you really want the truth? I mean, one of his most recent books was How Not to Diet. And there are over 2,000 peer-reviewed double-blind clinical trials that were referenced in that book as a reference about, is this true or not? Let's put it to the test. And here's the A/B test on that. So that's a tremendous compendium of resource.
Yes. Have you fasted at True North? You said that one of the physicians has become your go-to. Yeah,
it's interesting. I've done probably 25-day water fast. I do 3+ a year. I practice intermittent fasting. I'll give you kind of my health routine, what's really worked for me. But I've been practicing intermittent fasting for 5 years, and then the 5-day water fast for 5 years. So there's a guy at USC, the guy from Harvard, I can't remember his name right now, David Sinclair. He's brilliant and advocates 5-day fasting and the benefits of cellular autophagy. And then basically days 3, 4, and 5 of the fast, you start growing your own stem cells. You start growing your own native stem cells. And the guys at USC proved that if you do those 5-day water fasts consecutively, so let's say January 1st through 5th, February 1st through 5th, March 1st through 5th, there is a consecutive benefit of doing them 3 in a row. Not 5 days, 5 days, 5 days, back to back to back, but a month apart. And so I do that, and then I'll take 90 days off, and then I'll do it again. But the benefits are crazy. Good.
That's great. I've been interested, but my husband is the one that's doing all the research because that's become a lifestyle that he also wants to adopt, which is intermittent fasting. And I know of David Sinclair because of him, because he'll tell me about the latest research and how just you're really giving your body the opportunity to heal, because every time we eat, we kind of add stress to the body, and it has to focus not so much on the healing, but on the processing of the food. And you probably know more since you've been doing this for 5 years. This is so cool. I'm so glad that we're talking about this, because initially I was initially drawn to Chella, but here you are giving me all this great content as well in terms of health. And intermittent fasting in general is something that I'd like to explore more on my podcast as well. And Dr. Alan Goldhammer is going to be at this conference that I'm going to at the end of the month, National Health Association's annual conference. And he's at True North as well, as you know. So this is really cool. I may, if I get a chance, I'm going to see if I can interview him. He might be.
Oh, good luck. I hope you do. Yeah. That'll be incredible. I mean, from a common sense standpoint, it just makes sense. Every time you eat, you're making your body produce insulin, which is if you're snacking and eating all day long, you're insulting your body with insulin all day long. Which is inflammatory. Too much insulin is inflammatory. So now you're in a constantly inflamed state. And when you think about how we eat from, breakfast all the way through ice cream right before you go to bed, you're basically never giving your body a time to rest. You have that last meal right before you go to bed. So now you're digesting all night, and you wake up and you start to cycle again. And the entire time you're inflaming yourself with bad food. So when you eliminate 16 hours of eating, then your body actually gets through digestion and has 16 hours then to heal and repair and restore. And it's pretty simple science when you look at it from that perspective. If I'm not eating, I must be repairing and healing. And that's what your body needs time to do.
Absolutely. Thank you for giving a recap of what intermittent fasting looks like. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, and we can continue on your health story, but however you want to go with this conversation. But I wanted to say that as on the podcast, we mainly talk about lifestyle medicine, nutrition, activity, physical activity, stress management, all that good stuff, getting enough sleep. But because a lot of my listeners are women, I've also started to talk about environmental toxins and toxins that are found in our beauty products. And I'm talking about personal care products, makeup, household, all of that. And so I myself started to make a change, 20 years ago. In terms of what I put on my hair, just everything. I'm very careful about what I put on my skin. That matters to me. So when we talk about Chella, I would love for you to talk about that as well, because we know that our skin is the largest organ that absorbs what we put on it in a sense. And it can, I'm learning that environmental toxins can also be endocrine disruptors and can affect women's health. And so, tell us more about how you moved into that space. So we went from a personal injury that you had that took you out of the NFL, unfortunately, to learning about how you got a hold of your health and reverse your type 2 diabetes. And now you're doing intermittent fasting, which I think is awesome. It increases your longevity, not only quality of life, but telomeres, as you probably know. And so tell us more.
Thank you, Maya. Yeah, it's super important. For the same reasons that you started doing it 20 years ago, we started looking at from day one. We founded our company 20 years ago as anti-aging skincare, and for me, there was so much competition in the market. It came down to what are our natural ingredients and what can we do that's natural and active, that's going to have some kind of cellular communication properties. And you got to kind of be careful, because as soon as you say you're changing cells, and you're no longer a cosmetic, you're a drug. But as you know, their natural botanicals and ingredients are very powerful. All those berries with the blue and the red, they help kill those endocrine disruptors and help, your body heal. And because it's your skin, it works. So we got really big into amino acids and peptide chains that would have cellular function. And because of that, we wanted to look at the preservative bases. And that started, about 12 or 13 years ago. The standard preservative base was parabens. And there's a lot of controversy about whether or not parabens are good or bad. Your body naturally produces parabens. But what's the difference between natural parabens and synthetic parabens? And so we did a lot of study on that, and we came up with some preservative bases that weren't parabens, so we could be completely paraben free. And then as we evolved, we realized that we needed to make sure that we were abiding by clean beauty. And because of my lifestyle change of being vegan, I wanted everything in our product line to be vegan. So we're very big on clean beauty, no animal testing, completely organic as much as we possibly can in terms of the ingredients that we use. A lot of vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin E, kelp. We'll use natural ingredients like that, even in our cosmetic formulas. But yeah, we're super big on clean beauty and vegan and cruelty free. Those are really kind of landing pads for the foundation of our cosmetics.
This is awesome. I wonder how many of my listeners understand the animal byproducts that are used in makeup and in the testing phase.
Sure.
So if you'd like to talk about that, but I remember hearing certain things like, even it's not makeup, but Vaseline and what that's made out of. I think that's petroleum.
Yeah, petroleum oil.
Yeah. And
crude oil, kind of.
These are the things that, whether you're an ethical vegan or not, I think many people, Chris, care about animals. And when you learn that in the industry, many people test on animals so that they can sort of protect themselves against lawsuits and really to see how animals are reacting to some of the makeup, it's kind of harsh. At the same time, if you have to test it on an animal, you might not want to put it on your skin in the first place. I'm just saying it's probably not as natural. So what kind of things are found in, and one more thing before you answer that question. I think it's a smart idea just in general. I follow, I used to watch like these YouTube influencers that do makeup. How would you say it? They show you how to apply makeup, and in that they started to develop their own makeup lines because they've become very famous.
Sure.
And many of them, they may not be ethical vegans, but they choose the vegan makeup route because it covers everyone.
Right.
No one's going to say, I don't want that makeup because it's cruelty free.
Well, I would think, there's a lot of people who say and came up to us at the Vegan Women's Summit. And by the way, what an incredible job Jennifer, the organizer and founder of that, has done. I'm sorry, I'm segueing, but from what it was the year before in LA to its second year, and we got to talk about Mayor Eric Adams. Were you there for that?
No, I think I was flying in that evening. I missed it.
I'll share some great stories about him in a sec. But we have people come up saying, I only will use products that are vegan and ethical and cruelty free, wanting the confirmation that we weren't tested on animals. And to that animal point that you brought up, now, thank goodness, the technology has evolved where they can replicate in a lab, like say irritation on rabbit skin or a mouse skin. So instead of having to test on the animal, they can test on the genetic substrate for reactivity. So they really don't even have to test on animals anymore. So the technology has evolved to the point that if you're testing on animals, the only country that still kind of demands that is China. And they're starting to back off because they realize that, people care. For me, my personal journey is just so crazy in that regard. I will confess, I went to University of Wyoming. And I was a hunter and a fisher and a fishing guide. And, I used to kill my own meat and slaughter it and eat it. And I cannot imagine doing that to an animal anymore, ever. So, one was for health, but then you start growing and evolving in consciousness and you realize, these are sentient beings. These are animals. They have feelings. And of course, it's easy to say you're not going to kill and eat a dog. Everybody loves dogs. But when you start putting it to the entire food chain, then you realize, the cows have feelings, the pigs have feelings, all of it. So I really love the fact that my heart is now open to that and confess that I wasn't, but I'm on that journey now.
Yeah. Well, we all are on a journey. I think that times are changing and the more footage, really the documentaries did it for me, the more you see what is hidden from us.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
I mean, if we care about just even sweatshops, or there are probably other names for how we really take advantage of other workers in other countries to create products that are imported into our country. If we care about human rights, if we care about those kind of issues, we should care about animals suffering for our pleasure in many ways when it comes to like testing on them. So yeah, what kind of other things are found in makeup that are sort of like byproducts of animals?
Well, not for shock value, but horse urine called uric acid, has been used in skincare and still used in skincare because it's very effective.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's
oh
one.
My God.
And then sheep's wool, they'll get the lanolin out of the wool and use that as a skin softener and hydrator. It's very, very good, but it's not vegan because it doesn't hurt the animal. They're just shearing the wool and they make lanolin out of the wool. But those are two things that have been used for kind of centuries probably.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. I changing a little bit the subject about some of the products that I saw at the summit. I was really impressed with the vegan leather that's made out of cactus.
Yeah, and mushroom. Did you see the mushroom purses?
No, I did not see those. Oh
Yeah.
my God. I'm going to have to follow up with a lot of these companies. It's impressive. Like right now, I'm sort of moving into that minimalist space.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not buying a lot of things.
Yeah.
But then I thought, well, if I can support small businesses and their mission of eliminating, hopefully, moving away from leather purses, which again, many of them are very beautiful. But when you learn of how they're put together and what, I don't even want to talk about it because it's so graphic. But yeah, it's very innovative in terms of the technology and the advancements that are made to move away from testing and relying on animals to being more creative with products
for sure.
And other resources.
You bring up such a good point, Maya. I think it gives us hope because I see, so many young people in their 20s and 30s and 40s adopting these things, and they're not discovering them in their 50s and 60s like me. They're really advocating. My children are really advocating for that. And it's just really beautiful to see, those kinds of changes in our society, because it's just raising our group consciousness as we become more aware of that, animal suffering and human suffering, as we start looking at our food source. I mean, they spent billions of dollars trying to tell us that smoking was good for you. And right now, the cattle, the dairy, the chicken, all of those industries are spending hundreds of millions of dollars a year to tell us that their food is good for us. And it's not good for us. It's killing us, and it's killing the planet. And, the amount of, I'm just going to call it BS media that goes out to say that sustainable plant-based agriculture is going to cause more damage to the earth and use more water is just utter nonsense. The real studies and facts are out there. There was a recent thing, I'm going to jump around here a little bit, about alcohol. Alcohol is a neurotoxin, period. Dr. Uberman at Stanford University has a very clear-cut podcast on that, about the effects on your brain. If you want to shrink your brain and have dementia, drink alcohol. It's proven. But there are 700 false, bogus studies that show that having a drink a day or one drink a week is good for you. One drink a week equates to a 15% rise in cancer, period. All-cause mortality up 15%, one drink a week. But we're, brainwashed with our entire society into thinking that's a good thing. So to think for yourself and to realize I'm in control, not the doctors, not the medicine. I can heal myself, other than getting your arm cut off. I want to go see a doctor. But in terms of some of these things that, the group think it's all okay. And the group think is changing. Gary Vee talks about the fact that he thinks the fastest growing trend is going to be mocktails, like becoming a $1 trillion industry, because younger people aren't drinking as much because they realize they don't like feeling like that when they wake up after a big night. That's supposed to be a thing of pride. Oh my God, I'm never going to drink again. And then 6 p.m. you're back at the bar. So the fact that, alternative sources of alcohol consumption are being considered, that's group consciousness being raised. So I'm excited about that. Sorry.
Yeah, so am I. I too was really impressed and surprised that there's this sober, curious movement that's happening. And I've met younger people that have never had a drink in their lives. And that's a personal choice. It's like they see through the BS and the marketing, especially women are heavily marketed to with this mommy juice. And there are so many things that are very surprising to me in terms of, how we're targeted. So, yeah. And I love his Huberman. I love his podcast, too.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
It's great stuff.
Can I give a shout out?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Sorry. Shameless shout out to, or humble brag on Sarah, my better half. She's got a Instagram handle called Sips of Clarity. And it's all about not drinking and alternatives to not drinking. And her journey had taken her, she's from England. So a lifetime of, socially, you start drinking when you're 15 in the pubs with your parents and everything else, to, coming to the conclusion that there was another path for her, and she's on that path. And so now she's advocating for people who are on that journey. And it's beautiful to see, I've had a lot of effect on a lot of my friends on the eating side, and getting their diets under control. She's been able to do the same thing on the drinking side. So those are two big passions of ours.
That is awesome. Okay, so we're going to put a link in the show notes to follow her and explore.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I'm coming on, I would say July 4th will be 1 year since I've had any wine.
Congrats.
Yeah, so
that's amazing.
I'm calling myself sober, although my husband was like, you didn't really have a problem. And I say, well, everybody is different. I know that as I continue to grow in this space of health and wellness, I wanted to optimize my health. I started to learn, just like exactly what you're saying, Chris, that, my risk for breast cancer, my risk for Alzheimer's and other complications will continue to grow as I age and if I continue to consume alcohol.
100%.
But I didn't know that. I had no idea because of the misinformation I would hear on television, for example, that doctors recommend 1 glass of wine a day.
Right.
And the most I could really do would be 2 glasses a day because I'm very sensitive and I'm a control freak. So I need to be in control of everything. But at the same time, it would help me relax. And probably my heavier drinking days were in my 30s.
Sure.
Not so much now, of course. But I learned a long time ago that I cannot have tequila because another the Mexican in me comes out. And so, but I love supporting sobriety and people's journeys. And nowadays, Chris, there are even different types of approaches, not necessarily like AA that people go and sit in AA, but there are sobriety coaches. There are different coaches that support you in changing those limiting beliefs that cause you to drink, for example. And I had just one more thing.
Please.
I'll put a link in the show notes as well. I had another individual who comes from the wine industry. She and her husband produce wine, not themselves, but they have this company. And she started a whole line of non-alcoholic wine when she herself had a health issue and realized she couldn't drink wine, and created a whole line of non-alcoholic wine where it's either, I guess they have 2 approaches, which is one, the alcohol was never in it. And the other one is they de-alcoholize the wine. They remove the alcohol. And although, of course, I tried some. I had her on the show, loved it. Some are more like sweet teas. But anyway, I still have to move away from so much sugar. So I still have to be concerned about that. But there's a whole world that is opening up. There are dry bars that are popping up. It's incredible.
Yep, 100%. I don't know if you've heard of the book, but a big inspiration for Sarah was this book called This Naked Mind by Annie Grace.
I want to say I read it. Oh my God, I'm getting chills.
Yeah.
Yes, I know the title.
In my journey in supporting her, I basically was cutting my drinking down to 1 or 2 a month. And much like you and to use the word, your husband said you didn't have a problem. Nobody has a problem. It's whether they're drinking 1 or 2 or 10 or whatever, but it's that it seems if you want to stop, people say, what's wrong with you? Right? So you're kind of getting judged for not drinking. And it's kind of interesting, if you were going to line out some crack on the table and snort it, people would say, what are you doing? But God forbid you go to the bar and not have a drink and they say, what's wrong with you? It's like, hold on a second. You guys are all drinking the neurotoxin. I'm just having a little, soda with a squeeze of lime here.
I think that congratulations to Sarah and congratulations to you for supporting her. And I know you're going to add more, but I just wanted to also say that first time that you go on vacation and you're not drinking on the plane or at the vacation spot, it's like a paradigm shift, just like when you change how you eat. You're like, wait a minute. The first time you go to a nightclub or a concert and you're not drinking.
I remember all of those.
Right.
Because you have this promo. You think you're going to miss out and you're sitting there and then your mind wraps yourself around it and you go, hey, man, I'm cool just being here. I'm cool being present. I don't need anything.
Right. And the funny thing is that, they say that some people white knuckle these experiences. I literally sometimes go, oh my God, I'm not drinking. Like you just forget, like you go on with life and you just completely forget. But those first experiences really stand out. And when I think of, no one pressures me because I don't have those people in my life that are like, come on, just 1 glass won't hurt you. I don't have that. But I will say that sometimes when I do reflect on these things, if we want to use a glass of wine or 2 or whatever your preference is to drink, to celebrate, there are plenty of opportunities to be drinking every single day. So it's 5 o'clock everywhere, any time of the day.
Look at the commercial.
5 o'clock.
It's not a celebration unless you have a drink. You can't watch football, baseball, basketball, wedding. Can't do anything unless you're drinking, that's right. We're brainwashed. Again, we're brainwashed. And, I kind of going to rewind back to that point that we were talking about that you brought up, which was so important about all these studies. There are studies for and there are studies against. And what, the tobacco industry's big ploy was just put enough misinformation out there so you don't know what to do, because if you don't know what to do, you'll do nothing, which means you're going to keep doing what you've been doing. And so be wise, wake up, find an Uberman out there, find some people who actually have truth, find, nutritionfacts.org so you can read about what, a high fat diet actually does to you, and read these things and then see what then make a decision for yourself, not what's based on the ad. To your point about higher risk of breast cancer, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. It's in the documentary, I think, What the Health, where if a woman has breast cancer and she survives it and she continues to eat dairy, within 5 years, 50% of women will get a secondary cancer, either related or unrelated to the first cancer, if they continue to consume dairy. Dairy is full of growth hormones. Imagine, it's full of the injectable hormones and then the hormones that are in milk. And that's what you're making yogurt out. And by the way, I don't want to throw the stone, but I'm going to throw the stone. Susan B. Komen is funded by Yoplait Yogurt, maker of dairy yogurt.
Yes, I do know that.
Breast cancer, I don't understand that. But
it's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember wanting to support her. And then when I started learning about this, I thought, oh, well, isn't that interesting that the same foods that cause women to, they increase the risk for breast cancer, the same organization is partnering with them. So yeah. I don't understand. I wanted to know a couple of things. How are you finding your consumers, your clients, the people that are interested in Chella? I met you at the summit, at the Vegan Women's Summit. Are you going to other conferences, summits, trade shows? So that's the first question. And then tell us, what does Chella consist of? Like what products, eye makeup, and all of that?
Sure. Okay. No, great questions, Maya. We are very active at Chella.com. So we have our own website. Anybody can go to Chella.com. We have a special code for all the listeners today. I think you're going to throw it in your link. It's Chris, my name 20. So CHRIS 20. And you put that in, you'll get 20% off your first order. We'd love to have you try our products. We are sold, to answer that question, at Four Seasons, Ritz-Carlton, JW Marriott, and about 250 plus high-end spas and salons around the country. We're, in fact, getting ready to open, I think, the Omni in Dallas. We just brought on an incredible sales rep in Dallas. So we do a lot of B2B in the high-end spa salon market. We do direct-to-consumer through Chella.com and Amazon.com. We're in about 20 countries through Amazon internationally. So we've got a great footprint internationally. And then we do the professional trade shows for B2B. So that ISPA, which was the last group I spoke at, we just attended that show in July. So we'll do those shows. And then we are so impressed with Jennifer and Vegan Women's Summit and being a sponsor there. And we're hoping to double our footprint next year when it's back out in LA on our home turf. So we love doing that. And then what do? So we're all about brows and eyes. Everything that has anything to do with your eyebrows and eyes, we're building that line. And we want to be focused there because there are so many cosmetic companies that do full face makeup that have foundation and blush and lipstick. And that's really not our mission. Kind of the less is more. We've got incredible vegan, cruelty-free mascaras that are ophthalmologists and dermatologists tested for non-irritation and sensitivity. So if you get burning, itchy eyes when you use a mascara, and a lot of people do, we've got probably the cleanest formula out there for non-irritation, and people are raving about it. We've got this really cool deluxe heated eyelash curler that is recharges with a lithium battery with the same cell phone charger you have. So I don't know, a lot of women use those crimpers to curl their lashes and they break and tear their lashes out. This is just a wand, like a little, you don't grab your lashes, you just roll, curl, and hold up against your eyelid and it lasts all day. So that's a lot of fun. And then we've got the eyeshadow. So you showed the mascara earlier. That's a little mini mascara that you got at the show. Oh, there's your cute
And
little Chella
so
bag.
this is really cute. If you're watching the video, you'll see that I'm holding up this cute little bag. You were giving these away to the attendees. And I'm
Yeah,
going to actually do a separate video, sort of like a little unboxing
lovely.
where I open it. So it hasn't been opened because I'm saving that for a Instagram video. But
Fabulous.
tell us, so great job on the packaging
Thank
and
you.
giving us samples so that we can try it at home. And yes, the eyelash curler that you're referring to, they also pinch your eyelids sometimes if you're not doing it correctly. So
Correct. Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah. Very aggressive. So I'm going to save the best for last. So we got the mascara, the curler. You showed the eyeshadow. That's a little mini eyeshadow. We have deluxe palettes that are replaceable. So you don't have to throw it away. You can buy the replacement palette to put in there. So we got great eyeshadows. We've got really the heart of our line is eyebrow pencils. So to fill in your brows, that's the quickest, easiest way is do a little brow fill. And all of a sudden you look like you've got makeup on. It's kind of the no makeup look with 9 shades. So we cover the entire rainbow of hair color and skin tones. So we've got the right brow shade for you. Then we've got an eyebrow cream, which is basically waterproof. You can go swimming in that, take a shower, take a sauna, and your brows have not melted. They're going to be completely on your face with our eyebrow cream. So those are 2 products to fill. We have a clear eyebrow gel. We call that Define. So you define your eyebrows in place and keep them in place. And then we have 6 shades of highlighter pencil. 2 of the 6 are shimmers. So you get these cute little shimmer shades, and then those shades help your skin tone and really fill in any gaps above or below the brows and really make your brows pop, but in a natural way. So
Yeah.
That's really the extent of the line as it stands today. And an amazing Lush Balm cleanser that is primarily about 75, 80% olive oil and limonene. So all natural olive oil and lemon to clean your face. So you clean oil with oil. Your face is made of oil and you put water on it, it's going to repulse it. But oil will dissolve oil and dirt on your face. And the olive oil has got so many beneficial natural ingredients that will go in and heal your skin and hydrate your skin. And then as does the limonene as a cleaning agent. So it kind of foams up and washes off and leaves your skin super moist. It's an incredible makeup remover and skin hydrator for either oily, dry, or combo skin. So that's a real, we call it our Lush Balm. It's Lush.
Awesome. I also saw that. So I had Vikas Garg. I interviewed him yesterday, and he's the founder of A Billion, the app. And so I downloaded the app and saw that your product is there now as well. So people are sharing. I don't know if you knew that. If you signed up for that.
No, Vikas and his company are great. They're the lead sponsor. And he's wonderful.
That's right. And so we'll put the link for the Amazon store, or that you're listed on Amazon, as well as just Chella.com. And what are some of your consumers, some of your users, what are they saying about the product?
Yeah, we're very, very lucky. We've got, I think, 10,000 reviews on our website amongst all the products. I think that of course they love it, right? I think the real testament is that we have over 500 customers who have bought 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 times from us. So once you fall in love with Chella, you won't find anything as good, and you're really going to be very, very happy with the quality. That's the number one thing for us, is we have to make incredible products that people will fall in love with and want to share with their friends. And it's clean beauty and it's vegan. We're so grateful for our customers. They're incredible. 10,000 plus reviews on our website, and it's generally about the product and how it makes them look and feel. And that's our goal. We want you to feel and look your best, and know that you've got a high quality product that you can really be proud of.
Yeah, I can actually tell you that my mascara, the one, and I try different ones, I usually always end up with very irritated eyes, and I wear contacts, which actually makes it even worse because my eyes feel heavy. Yeah, you can tell it's a little bit red. So I'm going to try your product. And
can't wait to hear the review.
I know, right? I should do that. I should do it before and after, a few days after, a week after, and see and tell my listeners. But if we haven't given you listeners enough reasons to try Chella, what else would you like to tell them about Chella in general?
Well, just that as a company, we've got an incredible team of employees. and our vendors and our support people that are all aligned in this mission about clean vegan beauty and being able to make a difference in your life that matters, helping you transform and manifest. And it's really more than makeup. It's really about wanting you to look and feel your best, and for us to help you on that journey that you're limitless. Anything that you want is possible. And it's about staying positive in that regard. And we're just so grateful for all of our customers, and Maya, particularly for you today, for giving us this opportunity to be on your channel and meet your customers and meet your fans, and to commend you for the incredible work that you're doing, enlightening people and bringing this invaluable knowledge into their lives.
Yeah, well, it's my pleasure. It's about health, right? Like, we're helping people, and we're also helping to move away from products that may be tested on animals or that may not be as healthy for us, especially if we tend to have allergies or reactions to certain makeups. We're taking care of ourselves by having makeup that feels good on our skin. So it's been a pleasure. Would you like to share any more links, social media? Is it all under Chella?
Oh, great call out, Maya. If you want to follow us on social, it's all under Chella Beauty. So all of our customers are Chella Beauties. So just Chella Beauty for IG, for Facebook, for YouTube, and for TikTok. And then to purchase directly from us, it's Chella.com.
Okay.
And don't forget Chris 20 so we can save you some money.
Oh, that's right. Chris 20. Yeah. We'll put that link. Okay. We'll put that in the show notes as well. It's been so much fun. I feel like I can speak with you for hours. I'm going to see you next year. I'm going to be in LA for the Vegan Women's Summit. I can't wait. By then, I'm sure I will be a heavy consumer of your product. But
we're going to be in Dallas and next month. So if you're headquartered in Dallas.
We are, I don't know how well you know the area, but we're in the central Dallas area, not far from North Park Mall.
Okay. I know where that is. My son lives in Flower Mound, so we're going to be staying out there, but let's get together.
Yeah, let's stay in touch. This has been so wonderful. Thank you so much, Chris, again, for speaking with our listeners about Chella. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you. Take care. Cheers.
You've been listening to the Healthy Lifestyle Solutions podcast with your host, Maya Acosta. If you've enjoyed this content, please share with one friend who can benefit. You can also leave us a 5-star review at ratethispodcast.com/HLS. This helps us to spread our message. As always, thank you for being a listener.